Good afternoon and good day wherever you may be joining us from. Welcome to a special edition of the Digital Download, which is
The
the
longest
longest running
running
weekly business talk show on LinkedIn Live. Now
now
globally
globally
syndicated
syndicated.
on TuneIn Radio. All right, we'll work on that. In
Again.
celebration
Just so everybody
of-
knows, as we continue to work on that, it's going to sound precisely the same.
yeah, it is.
So we will continue to work on it, but it's just going to sound the same.
Pretty much. In celebration of the inaugural World Enablement Day, today we're asking, what is social enablement? But before we jump in, let's go around the set and introduce everyone. While we're doing that, why don't you in the audience reach out to a friend, ping them, and have them join us? We strive to make the digital download an interactive experience. Audience participation is highly encouraged. All right. Tracy, would you kick us off, please?
I would love to. Thank you, Rob. I am Tracy Borison, founder of TLB Coaching and Events, where we care about how marketers are using social selling. So I'm super excited to talk about social enablement today from a marketing perspective. And I'm also a very proud partner of DLA Ignite.
Excellent. Thank you very much. Bearded sales guy, Alex.
Hello, all. Yes, the bearded sales guy.
Calling from Portugal.
Calling from Portugal. Otherwise known as Alex Abbott, founder of Sapiro and the creator of the conversation operating system. I too am a proud partner of DLA Ignite, and I'm ecstatic about this topic today. Social enablement.
Fantastic. Thanks for being here.
Thank you, Rob. I was looking for a reference to the professor in your book, and I couldn't find one.
I think I allude to it, but not the professor. No, haven't really adopted that moniker yet. Bertrand.
Yes, good afternoon, everybody. My name is Bertrand Godillot. I am the founder and managing partner of Odysseus & Co., a very proud DLA partner.
Excellent. Thank
and
you
I'm glad
very
to be
much.
here today on my favorite topic.
Excellent. We're glad to have you here. Adam.
Hi, everybody. I'm Adam Gray, co-founder of DLA Ignite. Now, I'm going to steal some of Tim's words here, and we'll see why as we work our way along the top here. I'm famous for writing the book Brilliant Social Media.
Excellent. Tim, welcome.
Welcome, thank you. My name's Tim Hughes. It's a bit strange doing this on a Monday rather than a Friday.
It is, isn't it? Yeah.
It is really strange. Welcome to everybody. I'm the CEO and co-founder of DLA Ignite, and I'm famous for writing the book Social Selling Techniques to Influence Buyers and Changemakers.
Excellent. Welcome. Thank you very much. And myself, I'm Rob Durant, founder of Flywheel Results, a proud DLA Ignite partner. And I'm not famous for writing anything.
No.
Yet.
No, you are. You are famous now.
You're famous now for writing
the Social Enablement Blueprint. Stop pitching. Start selling.
So I don't know about you guys, but Rob, Tim, and Adam are all along the top.
I know. What was that? Was that planned?
We have the authors at the top and the
The authors are just a little above.
Gives you something to aspire to, right?
We're coming for you.
Yeah.
There you go. Awesome. All right, so we've talked a little bit about social enablement, but most people probably have not yet heard that term. So let's start by answering the foundational question. What is social enablement? Social enablement is not a connect and pitch sales program. And that's why I prefer to use the term social enablement in place of social selling. In many circles, social selling has been given a bad name. Social enablement, on the other hand, is the strategic and tactical process of leveraging social media to drive more conversations and ultimately drive more opportunity. And it applies to all departments at all levels within an organization. Social enablement is not just for sales. Social enablement is the process by which organizational leaders, enablement professionals, and marketing and HR teams can support sales teams as they apply the Ignite social selling and influence sales methodology to their social selling efforts. Adam, I think I've been through your social selling and influence class with Ignite at least 5 times now.
I was going to say it's a lot more than 5, I think, Rob.
And yet, I still want to ask you, what is Ignite?
Well, when Tim and I set the business up, we knew that social media was the future of comms and sales and visibility and all of those things that make the different functions within an organization work effectively. And there were lots of LinkedIn trainers and top tricks type things out there, but we wanted to produce a proven, repeatable, predictable methodology, which we hope changes the way people think about this and how they behave in the online space. And this is not just about creating a plan and knowing that you have to be more friendly or more approachable. But yes, there is an element of that. You have to have a vision, you have to have a dream, you have to have an idea of where you're heading, but you also have to know the steps and the processes that you need to undertake, not just in order to achieve success, because a quick win is success, but it's also a degree of luck, but how you can do that in an ongoing way. Because, one of the things that we like to say is that being successful on social media is hard work, but it's a hell of a lot easier than the other options. And the point is, you want to get the maximum possible result you can in the most predictable way with the least amount of effort. So that's what we've created with this.
Awesome. Tim, I know you wrote about this recently. What tools and technologies are essential for effective social selling and social enablement? Do I need to buy an AI?
It's a great question, Rob, and one I get asked a lot. And I think it's I'm seeing that the average salesperson in the States is probably getting spent $8,000. I'm hearing of people that are spending $100,000 per salesperson just to give them some sort of tech to enable them to do what they've been doing for the last 30 years, rather than actually saying, well, there's actually, the world has changed. We all know the world's changed. COVID changed things, social media changed things, digital changed things, but we're still doing things, we're still cold calling like I did 30 years ago. And why are we doing that? Partly because the leadership is saying, well, we need to be doing it because it worked for me 20, 30 years ago. So what they need to be doing is actually raising their heads up and seeing that there's actually something else. And this isn't about sending people spam messages on social media.
So bottom line, how much am I investing?
Well, we actually recommend that people take the professional edition of LinkedIn, and that's it.
That seems so simple.
Some of the best things are so simple.
You could save an awful lot of money and get better results. Isn't that an amazing thing? Is that more for less?
Yeah, I've never heard that expression before. Doing more with less.
So Alex, funny about this, if I could just share something from like a marketing perspective, because one of the things that I love about the phrase social enablement instead of social selling is, as you mentioned, Rob, that's kind of been segmented for sales, right? People said like social selling is for sales people or sales activities. And one of the things that has confused me for a very long time is that marketers are responsible 98% of the time maybe more than that, I'm being conservative, for the social presence of a business. So we got marketers over here creating the social presence of the business, as in they are posting things on social media, generally multiple platforms of social media. And then we have the salespeople over here. Maybe they're doing social selling activities, or maybe they're doing the old school cold calling types of activities. But for digital businesses that operate, want to build their funnels in the digital environment, these two efforts now are like fighting against each other. Right? So I got sales over here doing this. I got marketing over here doing this. Nobody knows what each other is doing. And so we can't build something together. We're not actually moving anything forward by the activities that we're doing. And if you look at most marketing organizations and the social activities they're doing, AKA posting posts or white papers or client testimonials on their company page, they don't do anything. They don't do anything. And so maybe now you're paying money for a marketing tool to do that. You're most likely paying a marketing resource to do that. So there's a cost associated with these things, even though there's not a cost of having a company page on LinkedIn. And we just keep doing it. We just keep spending this money, and it just keeps going into the toilet. And when we look at this opportunity to enable people from a business perspective to be social on social media, this is, I mean, we're going to talk a lot about sales today, I'm sure, but from a marketing perspective, I just think like this is critical, right? Like if you are going to have your marketing people doing activities on social media, they need to be socially enabled, and they are not being socially enabled today. And I'm very fired up about it.
Yeah.
So Tracy, can I also pick up on that?
Yes.
Because I think there's also been a transition from companies. SAP is a big example of this, which is where what they've done is that they've moved from posting on their company page to broadcasting on their leadership pages. There's a standard format that they use, and it will be, here's us at the sales kickoff, here's us at the at Sapphire, here's us doing something else, and it's still broadcast.
Right.
And what they do is that they're getting 100 likes, because what they're doing is that they're going to their employees and saying like this. Now, actually, 100 likes from SAP, because considering they've got 20,000 whatever people, this isn't a lot, but they think that's being social, broadcasting through the leaders' social media channels, and it's not.
Well, and I just want to share this quick example, because it's actually one of the examples given in the Ignite training system. Is there's like two people who post that it's their birthday on social media. One of them gets like 6 likes. The other one, which I'm actually going to say was me this year, I did a birthday post on my 40th birthday. It got like...
You're never 40, Tracy. No way.
I'm on the 4th floor. But I got like, I don't even know, thousands upon thousands of impressions. There was like 200 comments and like a whole bunch more likes and things like that. And I was like, oh, so that didn't happen because I posted that. Didn't happen because I posted it. It happened because I did all of this social relationship building before I posted that. So then when I posted that, it went big and got lots of traction, and then lots of new people saw it, which is weird because it's my birthday, and when strangers wish you happy birthday, I think it's weird. But like, that's the difference. But it's not, especially from a marketing perspective, I think so much of this has come down to you just have to post, you just have to post, you just have to post. And if you post, you'll get all of this engagement and all of these impressions. No, there's something that happens before the post, and it's the social enablement. So now I'll stop talking about it.
Before, during, and after. It's
That's
all
true.
of the time. Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Can we just pull up Julia's comment, Rob?
Absolutely.
Julia says, "Congrats, Tracy. You look amazing."
Thank you. I feel like I have more energy in my 40s than I did in my 30s. So
I think one of the things that companies fail to understand in many instances is that the message that's being delivered is not the determinant of success. It's who's delivering the message that is the determinant of success. So, you know, Rob tells me something and I don't care because I don't like Rob. Tim tells me something, I don't care because I don't like Tim. Alex tells me something, Bertrand tells me something, Tracy tells me something. Oh, that's really interesting, Tracy, because I know you and I like you. And the fact is that when you've got an organization, whether or not that's a team of 10 people or 10,000 people, it is the love and the individual networks that those people have created where the value lies for the organization. You know, I don't want to hear Tim speak in Rob's words. I want to hear Tim speak in Tim's words. Does that mean that everyone's going to like Tim? No, but then they don't have to. What you know is that when you look at a team of the six of us on the call, when you look at the team of the six of us on the call, as long as one of us is liked by the person that's consuming the content, that's the bit that matters. And most organizations have this view that if it's a well-crafted, well-produced, well-photographed, well-copywritten post, it's the thing that's going to unlock the opportunity. And we know for a fact, we have a client where this individual posted something and it got 6.5 million views and 38,000 likes. And he didn't generate any inbound from it because actually that's not where the value lies. Going viral as a business or as an individual is not where the value lies. The value lies from you stimulating conversations. And that's the bit that is missed by so many organizations. If only there was a methodology that taught you how to do it.
But it's all
Tracy, I
about
want to pick up. Well, go ahead, Bert. Alex.
Everybody's talking.
Sorry, but it's all about the messaging, Adam. If the messaging isn't right, then you know.
Yeah, of course. How foolish.
But this is something that I think it was confusing for me at the time and why it stuck in my brain. I remember working in corporate and I worked like the VP of sales had his office right behind me. And I remember like all of the salespeople going into his office and brainstorming the script that they were going to use. And so they created this script which at the end of the day is an average of all of the people, but not anything any of them would actually say. And so when you're talking about like, yeah, there is messaging that goes into it, but there's also this like level of authenticity in the message that allows you to be perceived as a human. Right? If we are all out there, you got 3 salespeople or you have 20,000 salespeople, and they're all out in the market saying exactly the same thing, you know none of them are actually being fully authentic with you because we're not robots.
Yeah. And I would,
Tracy, I want to pick up on something that you said initially when it came to sales and marketing. And the reason the Sales Enablement Society no longer exists, it is now known as the Revenue Enablement Society. The reason today is World Enablement Day, not World Sales Enablement Day, is exactly the misperception that you had picked up on. When it was called Sales Enablement, people thought it was for sales. By simply calling it enablement, well, now we can talk about it for all of the departments. And that's why we call it social enablement. Yes, it's sales first because we can point to the results that social enablement drives for salespeople. But we can also point to the results that it drives for marketing, for HR, for purchasing. I can point to results for the engineering department if they undergo a formal program of social enablement.
I can pinpoint results for career searchers. Like if you're a job seeker and you are trying to use social media anyway, specifically LinkedIn, to find a job, social enablement, friends.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, Alex, you've done the research. How can sales teams measure the effectiveness of social, and what are some real world outcomes companies are leveraging it for?
Well, I think the reason I started the research. So we've done a study now for 3 years. We've got 16 months worth of data where we've been tracking, individual rep behavior, not just rep, actually, a range of experiences from SDR, AE, sales director, leader, you know, on the kind of the pre-sale, so new business as well as post-sale. So, you know, looking at developing conversations with existing customers. And the reason we started the research was for the exact kind of reason, Tracy, you were kind of talking about this dichotomy between marketing and sales, where, you know, sales want marketing to generate leads, and marketing is still trying to generate leads, you know, by creating messaging and content and nurturing. And it's doing the exact opposite. It's actually pushing buyers further away. And then salespeople, you know, want leads, but they feel like they're past it, right? You know, we don't do prospecting anymore because we've now graduated as an enterprise salesperson. And, you know, I needed data really to prove that the Ignite sales social selling methodology worked. So when I was going into conversations with sales leaders, challenging them to get their sales teams to do more prospecting, you know, build relationships with their territories at scale, I had the data to back that up. But on the other side, also with marketers to tell, you know, to educate marketers, you know, about the importance of adapting their approach. Certainly, I'm talking B2B sales and marketing, right? So, you know, no longer can marketers just expect to do what they're doing and have different results. They need to think about how they support the sales team differently so that the sales team can actually do the things that sort of, you know, help them, empower them to build relationships at scale. And that might be repurposing content, corporate content, but repurposing it in their own words, not just sharing corporate content that you touched on, Tim, in this call. And so, you know, within the first quarter of measuring things like network growth, follower growth, the number of posts on LinkedIn, how human the content was, you know, not personalized, but actually human, genuine and authentic. By tracking how many new conversations each person was inserting themselves into on social media, you know, that's looking for topics that are relevant to them and their target audience, and actually, you know, kind of getting involved in the conversation and commenting, looking for people that are posting. And if those, you know, if their target audience isn't posting, look at what their target audience is commenting on or liking. Because when you know, comment or react to those posts, your target audience sees you. And it's a great way of putting yourself in front of your target audience. So we were measuring all of that stuff, and by the end of the first quarter, we found that we were able to create meetings, calls with 6.7% of those that we asked. And as we continue to track that, and as we continue to practice the methodology, we got better. That crept up to 9% by the end of Q2. You know, we're now sort of averaging, we can see an average benchmark across the range of people that we're tracking, and that's, you know, Sapiro associates as well as clients. You know, we can see the average is 10.5%. So for everyone.
So hold on a second. So you're saying that you ask 10 people for a call and one of them says yes on average?
Yeah.
So during the course of a week, I ask 100 people for a call. That means 10 people will take a call with me.
Yeah. And that's the point. They actually take the call with you. They don't just say yes.
I mean, this is remarkable, isn't it? Because most organizations, they don't get anywhere close to that. If you said to the sales teams within most organizations, if all of your sales reps were able to have 2 calls per day with ideal customer profile people, where the people attended those calls, how would that affect your business? I mean, I think most of them wouldn't be able to answer because they're currently getting 1 call every 2 weeks.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
you know, it's orders of magnitude different, isn't it?
It really is. It is. And, you know, when we first kind of started this, we were seeing about 33% of those calls progress to a meaningful next step. And that's an important measure as well, because to your point, Tracy, when you're putting the effort in to make yourself look as attractive as possible on social media, and it's clear that, you know, not only what you do and that you're an expert at what you do, but you're also a genuine, authentic person worth having a chat with. When those people have a chat with you, they're more likely to want to have another chat with you, because it's no surprise, you know, who you are and what you do and what your intention is, which is what most people want to understand when they meet you for the first time. So we now see that's reached 39.5% on average, that call progression rate across everyone that we're tracking. And then we started to look closer at, you know, those customers that had focused account territories. So for everyone, it's not, you know, it's not about volume, it's about quality and actually penetrating those large accounts as deep and as wide as possible. And then we found things like that, you know, by following this methodology, clients were increasing their territory penetration by 10 to 15 times. So, you know,
10
making
to 15 times.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, the problem with this is that these numbers are outside of most people's scope of understanding, aren't they?
Yeah.
You know, a 1,500% increase in your territory penetration, and the thing is that it's through the repetition of simple, easy to understand tasks.
Yeah.
That's the point, isn't it? You know, like going to the gym. If you want to get fit, you need to not lift heavy weight once. You need to lift it 100 times. And you know, that's the point. It's about teaching people how to do these things, because we know time and again that it addresses the fundamental issues that every sales function in an organization has these days.
Yeah. Yeah. So true. And
You deliver those numbers so casually, Alex.
Yes.
They are groundbreaking.
yeah,
They are not casual at all.
I know. I should perhaps be singing and dancing whilst I'm
Yeah,
telling
yeah.
you.
The way you smile when you land these numbers, actually, for the ones who are just listening to us, tells a lot.
Yeah.
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 Well, but I'm also thinking of this from a I would say that the majority of marketing qualified leads are not at all qualified or leads. They're neither of those things. We just call them that because that's what we're getting measured on from a
They
marketing
have a pulse.
Right, but like, can you imagine? Can you imagine if you had that kind of rate in generating marketing qualified leads, and 39% of your marketing qualified leads became sales qualified leads? Like, that number is insane, right? People don't get that. But that's because people are not doing, they're not I would say right now people are not being socially enabled. So it's not even that they're sitting on the skill stack right now and not doing the things. They have not been enabled in this way. And so this is why this conversation is so important, is like, what does it actually look like to be socially enabled? And then once you are, and you've gone through the effort, you've put in that 90 days, 100 days of effort into building things, then you get to see those numbers.
Yeah.
But you have to be enabled by the thing first.
You do.
You have to do the thing, is what you're saying, Tracy.
To get the thing, you have to do the thing.
Yeah.
It's well known around here.
It is. Yeah, I mean, we had one client who had been working with their SDR in partnership. So he was a sales director working with his SDR. 5 months they were cold calling and emailing into their territory. One meeting. 5 months after their journey with this program, 36 meetings, averaging 2.4 meetings per active account, had engaged 6.4 times more stakeholders than before, which is huge when you think about enterprise sales and the number of stakeholders now influencing, you know, purchase decisions. And now I've got the luxury of kind of looking back. So beyond the 5 months, ends the first year. All right, he finished in the top half of the table, but the thing that is just wonderful about it is looking into year 2 in the first half, 70% of his H1 pipeline is committed revenue. And now he's thinking about just creating a predictable flow of pipeline and revenue, which is the holy grail for anyone in enterprise sales. And the confidence that he has now is just unreal. And he can trust, to your point, Adam, he just trusts in this process.
But I mean, let's be honest. If you've been thrashing away for 5 months and generated 1 meeting, and then you try this, and in the same period of time you generate 38 meetings, did you say? 36 meetings. So a 36 times increase in the number of meetings that you've got. I mean, that would give most people confidence, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
And they are good meetings. That's the point. They're actually potentially better meetings even than the one that was achieved in 5 months. Yeah.
So one of the things that I quite find funny, because I have a dry sense of humor, is that one of Alex's clients is an email marketing company, and they can't get any business through email marketing. So they came to Alex and said, Alex, our email marketing system doesn't work. Can you help us with social selling?
And this is the thing, right? Like, email has its place, right? There's lots of things that email can do, but from a lead generation point of view, it's mostly useless for most businesses. And even if we're primarily talking about B2B here, and there's a lot of differences between B2B and B2C. And so if you're trying to take, this is something I really observed too with the split of sales and marketing, because I do think in some industries it makes sense to do that in B2C. I used to work in retail furniture. The marketers sit in the corporate office, they make flyers, they send out the flyers. The salespeople are in the store waiting for people to come in. Marketing's job is to drive people into the store, which really, is it working? I don't know. People come in when they need a fridge, right? Your fridge breaks, you come in and you buy a fridge. The salesperson sells you a fridge, right? The activities of sales and marketing don't have to be connected in order for it to work for a business. But from a B2B perspective, people are seeing your marketing efforts and interacting with your salespeople at the same time. So if those two things are not aligned and not working well together, we're actively breaking your brand experience instead of actively building your brand experience. And again, if marketers are here for anything, is it not to actively build your brand experience?
I think I would take issue with what you said there, Tracy, because they're not seeing your marketing efforts. And the point is that the reason they're not is that, we all are very good, whether or not we're scrolling in Facebook, or we're looking at our inbox, or we're driving down the street or sitting on the subway looking at, with the adverts around us. What we do is we actively tune this stuff out.
It's true.
And the reason we do is that how well you can do your job is partly based on how well you can focus on that job. And when I'm getting loads of emails with people saying, just bouncing this or circling back round in order to have a conversation, or did you get a chance to have a look at my, no. And I remember the words of Gary Vee. He said, content is king, but context is God. And the point is that the reason that I'm going to read your email is because it's your email. It's got nothing to do with the content of it, because I only know that when I've consumed the email, and I'm not going to consume it because I've no idea who the hell you are. And it's this point, isn't it? If you build a relationship first, you build a platform on which not only are you likely to listen to what I say, but you're likely to believe what I say. And that's a huge disconnect in, pretty much every marketing or marketing function, because they believe that the solution is volume. And if you're selling training shoes, it is volume. Nike, Adidas, Reebok, whatever, they will do pretty much the same thing. I'm going to buy your brand because I like your brand, or because I think it's really great that LeBron James wears a pair of those, or whatever it may be. That's a perfectly valid thing. If you're selling an enterprise-wide ERP system, it ain't going to work in the same way. You know, the fact that Richard Branson is saying there, well, I use the Oracle ERP. So it's like people don't care. They have no interest in that. And the only way you can get them to care is if they form a bond with you and you demonstrate through your actions that you know what you're talking about. And
Yeah.
that's something that has seems to have blindsided most people, doesn't it?
It is. The reason I really love what you're doing with this book, Rob, because to your point, Adam, and to your point, Tracy, you know, marketers are spending most of their time, if not all of their time, trying to search and qualify the 5% of people that are in market to buy the thing that they sell. Yeah, and they're missing out on this huge opportunity, which is to actually build relationships with people, which is why this program works so well, because the success that we see is as a result of those people not selling. Actually, to your book, the point of your book, Rob, and actually to take this one step further, I think the future for organizations is actually to think about creating a prospecting culture. And perhaps prospecting is the wrong word, because the minute you say prospecting, people think selling. But actually creating a culture that you know, where everyone in the organization are contributing to developing their network for the good of the organization.
Absolutely.
I like to call it a brand community.
So, picking up on that, Tracy, as our resident marketing and branding expert, what role does personal branding play when it comes to social enablement?
All of it. So here's the thing, right? First of all, if we're talking about being social, I think it's important for people to note that the way I am social is different than the way Alex is social, or Rob is social, or Tim is social, or Adam, or Bertrand, or anybody who's watching this. Everybody has a unique brand of being social. And things that fall into it are things like whether you identify as an introvert or an extrovert, that will contribute to how you feel comfortable being social. So this isn't about all people showing up the same, because all people showing up the same doesn't have authenticity behind it. The repetitiveness of the tasks, the things we do, are where the consistency and the habit building lies. But your personal brand is how you build relationships with people. And even if you're listening today and you haven't ever thought before that you have a personal brand, every single human has a unique personal brand. You have conversations in specific ways. You build relationships in specific ways. You are comfortable talking about certain things and you're uncomfortable talking about other things. One of the things I love most about this program is that it allows you to harness those things and build the habits on top of it, instead of trying to create like a bunch of cookie cutter salespeople who are all using the same script and the same pitch. It's about embracing your personal brand, discovering your personal brand, which a lot of people, and I would say specifically from a marketing perspective, this has been very interesting for me, because as a marketer, I will say growing up as a marketer, you are behind the scenes. You are the voice of the brand. You are not the voice of yourself. You are the voice of your brand, and the brand says this, so you say that, right? You repeat the pitches, you repeat the elevator statements, you repeat what's on the website, you just repeat it. And the problem with that, and I can't remember if it was Tim or someone alluded to this earlier, maybe it was Adam actually, that the way I say something resonates with a specific group of people. But Tim could say the same thing in his own words, and it would resonate with a different group of people. And so from a marketing perspective, there's a lot of power in that, because now I've created the opportunity to resonate with a whole ton more people. You got 6 marketers on your team. You have the opportunity to take what is a lockdown narrative right now and open it up to 6 times the amount of people by enabling the personal brands behind the social interactions. Now, again, a lot of marketers right now aren't even having social interactions. Their job is to post the thing on social media and then tell the salespeople to share it. And the salespeople sometimes do, sometimes they like it. Most of the time they do nothing. And we just keep doing the same things. But at the end of the day, this is about igniting that uniqueness of the people behind the scenes within the umbrella of the brand. Because I think a lot of times why people are afraid to do this from a marketing perspective too is that they're like, but this is our brand. Our brand has to be this. But if you've hired your people responsibly, then your people should match your brand. Okay? So if you let your people go out and be people, it should match your brand. And this is why, Rob, you talked about why this has like a HR and a culture perspective attached to it too, because if you historically haven't done a good job of hiring your marketers or your HR team or your engineers or your salespeople in alignment with your brand values, then yeah, you would be terrified to let those people go into the social environment and share what they're going to share. But then there's other problems. I'm gonna leave it at that for now.
Bertrand, I wanted to ask you, as one who has recently started practicing Ignite in the French market, how do language and culture play into social enablement strategies?
Well, of course, Rob, I mean, obviously, we'd love to think we're different. But the reality is that we do have social animals. We do have people who are more reluctant to being social. But, you know, my own experience, every single call I have with my new contacts on LinkedIn are actually very high quality. We discuss our challenges. We also share thoughts about how to solve them. Now, is the French market different? Of course, the language is different. I've started applying Ignite, I think, a little bit more than 4 months ago. I have more than doubled my number of contacts in my target market. I'm on the range of 5 to 10 conversations a week. And when I talk about having high quality conversations, there are some of these new contacts I'm already on the third or fourth call with them, because we actually have created a relationship, and I'm glad we talked about this, which is the exact opposite of what very unfortunately is hiding behind the term social selling in practice. Because in practice, and to go back to what you were saying, Tracy, when the term social selling in our market is just all about automation and SDRs, completely disconnected. And then you end up with a sales team who's not social enabled. So it's completely counterproductive, as you very well stated. So that's also why there are people who are reluctant to getting on a conversation. The reason why they are reluctant is because they believe they're going to be pitched, which is obviously not the goal of creating a relationship and being on a social network. We are here to do the networking activity. And by the way, one number I was contemplating again this morning is my level 2 connections are currently at 320K, which means that even with a very small network, but very targeted, you actually have a lever, which is completely crazy, assuming the fact that you have truly created a relationship, and not just sending a flyer or a digital version of the analog flyer. I don't think that is working. So great experience here. We're no different than any other country from a B2B perspective, I'm quite sure. Does that answer your question, Rob?
Absolutely. Thank you for that.
Okay,
As we've got
humans.
As we've got 15 minutes left, I thought I'm going to talk about this.
Okay.
So
Rob doesn't want to talk about his book, but we're going to talk about it.
So it's not available on Amazon yet, is it, Rob?
No.
Because I checked, and
Yeah, no. The great thing about writing a book is writing a book. The
yeah,
challenging thing about writing a book is everything else that goes with it. And as others know, and I have learned, you need at least 3 full business days before you post a book to Amazon before it's available for distribution. With
So
delays in
have you
writing,
posted it?
delays in editing,
Have you posted it to Amazon? So
it-
it is now. It will be any moment now. It'll be available.
it will be available by the end of this week. And if you would like to get notice of the wait list, you can go to socialenablement.pro. On socialenablement.pro or the QR code on screen, you can register to have an email notification when the book becomes available on Amazon and other book resellers. Yes, sorry about that, Alex.
It's all right. It's a good resting spot.
So, Rob, your book, in a nutshell, why should somebody buy your book?
That's a great question. Honestly, they shouldn't. They should know
I know,
these
okay.
things already.
I know the answer. Ooh, I know. Because you know Rob and you like Rob and you want to support Rob, and that's why you buy your book. And this is what social enablement is all about, folks.
There you go. Honestly, there's nothing groundbreaking in there. It's
No, but I would disagree. I would strongly disagree
He's
with that.
short selling this, my friend.
Yeah, because there is.
There's
So
nothing
I read it, and
groundbreaking in there.
I read it as well,
that
Rob.
Rob's brain didn't know. He knew it
It's-
and he wrote it down.
yeah,
but there's a
it's
lot of
really
groundbreaking
well
things
written.
in there that other people do not know.
No, but I think that the point is that yeah, from a fact perspective, you know, we've been doing this for nearly a decade now, so we've published all of our IP into the public domain. If you chop it up and put it out there all the time, but the thing that you've achieved, Rob, is you've brought it all together in a really coherent way, and you've wrapped it in a beautiful narrative that is easy to understand and easy to digest. And I've made loads of notes from having read it, where I've thought to myself, I'm going to steal that with pride, because that's such a great way of describing that particular thing, or how you've phrased that, or how you've positioned that. And I think that for anybody in a sales role, be that a sales leader, a sales enablement professional, a sales enablement leader, a salesperson, anybody that's in a revenue facing role, they should read this book because it helps frame the actions that they need to take to be successful moving forward. Every time you go onto LinkedIn, there's somebody saying they've got a 2-hour masterclass that will tell you all of the secrets. And all of these things are great, and they do tell you the secrets that you need to know, but they don't tell you how to implement the secrets, and they rarely tell you why you should implement the secrets. And the beauty of this is that it clearly lays out what the process is, and it says you need to learn more about this bit, and you need to learn more about this bit, but it gives it great context. And I don't believe that anybody can read that book and then not at the end of it say, right, I understand what the road ahead looks like if I choose to go down this path. And I think that from that perspective, if nothing else, from that perspective, it's a must read for everybody in a revenue role.
And what I'd like to add to that, Rob, is that it's clearly written in your voice. And as you say in the book, your father was a teacher, and you feel that you're a teacher, and it's not patronizing, it's funny, it's positive, and the thing, and you've got these great exercises at the end of the chapter. So it's not like, here I am standing on the top of a hill with 10 commandments, go away and do them. You actually got the exercises to say, this is how you do this, and you've come up with this is a great example. So it's a great way of if you've got the theory and the practice as well.
So that brings me to why I say nobody should buy it. You should all know this inherently, but you don't. And that's okay, because I didn't either. We all have this FOMO. We know we're supposed to be on social media, but We don't know how, we don't know what, we don't even know why. And that's the approach I try and take with the book. Simon Sinek laid out that roadmap. Start with why, explain the how, and then tell me the what. And I've put together a very prescriptive process with examples of how to do each of the three basic tenets: be approachable, be sociable, and be generous. And speaking of generous, I wanted to take a moment to thank everyone here for their generosity. Tim and Adam for bringing me into the fold with DLA Ignite and showing me this path. Tracy, Alex, Bertrand, you've all been very generous with all of the ideas that you exchange both privately and publicly. And that's the opportunity that I hope everyone reading this book has as well, to get to know the entire team here at DLA Ignite, to get to know everyone in your network. We all have valuable things to say, but we just sometimes don't know how to go about saying it. Certainly not publicly, certainly not on social media. I'm not Gary Vee. I'm not Kardashian. I'm not. I don't care what you're not. I only care what you are. So take this opportunity to share that part with me. And if you don't know how, well, the book will map that out for you.
Yeah, I think for me that it's not. And you may have said this before, Tracy, I'm sure, but it's not. It's not. Oh, it's Rob. It's not what. It's not. It's not what you know. It's not the fact that people now know. It's the fact in your book you actually talk about. You kind of give them the guidance of what to do, how to do it.
It's not what you know. It's not who you know. It's who knows you for what you know.
There we go.
I say that all the time.
That's
Stolen
it.
from Rob.
Stolen with pride. Stolen with
Stolen with
pride.
pride from Rob.
Steal liberally. The more people that hear that message, the more sociable these platforms become. Because right now, they're too much media networks. Stop shouting at me. Stop pitching and start selling.
Yeah, so one of the lines that I absolutely loved in this was, for each of the experiences that you have 2,000 words available. So why give me just 10? And I just love that. I absolutely love that, because that's the essence of it, isn't it? The essence of it is to tell people everything about yourself, where you've been, all of this stuff. They're under no obligation to read it all. But the better the story that you tell, the more of it they'll read. And the more of it they read, the better they know you. And the better they know you, the more comfortable they are with you. And the more likely they are to believe you when you speak. And, these concepts are concepts that we all inherently do understand. When we go to a party, we don't say, "Hi, I'm Rob. I'm in sales enablement, and I understand about how to enable sales team to put." That's not what you say. I'm a dad. I'm a teacher. I love the following things. That's the thing that we all get. Every single person gets that, and yet we come onto these digital networks and we go. So I'm going to talk about last week. I got a 15% increase from this client, and nobody cares. Nobody cares about any of this stuff, and yet we still keep recycling it, because it's almost as if we believe that there's this secret rule book written of how we need to behave in the business context. But there isn't. I mean, it's everyone thinks, oh well, on LinkedIn it's a business network, and you're not supposed to share personal stuff. So where does it say that? Reid Hoffman, who founded LinkedIn, he never said that. It's not written in any of the terms and conditions. So why would you be assumptive and think that that's what he wanted you to think?
Good point.
Because that's what makes me comfortable. And I would much rather tell you how you should not use LinkedIn, how it's not Facebook, than it is to put myself out there.
This is one thing I will say, because even for I'm a personal brand advocate. I'm known for my authenticity, and going through this program, it tested my ability to be vulnerable on LinkedIn, and that is a practice, right? So then once you do it a few times, and it gets easier and easier and easier, And I'm not saying, and I don't think any of us are saying that this is about revealing all things about you to the internet. Right? This is about me saying, I had a moment with my son, and this is what happened, and this is what it taught me about personal branding. And this is part of the reasons why I am a branding expert, is because I see branding in the entire world. I see it in this episode. I see it in my son. I see it in the neighbors across the street. I see it. And so when you can take those things that you uniquely see and show them to people, then what they get to see is you're seeing things that other people don't see. And those things that you think are so basic, there's nothing new in this book, are things that other people have never been able to put together until you used your words to tell them it. And so that's why I think there's so much power in this concept of social enablement, because we're just really saying we're socially enabling people to share their story. And authenticity, in my definition, is about you saying or doing what you would do or say when you would do or say it. I don't get to dictate what story you tell. You dictate what story you tell, but you tell the stories that you want to tell. And you stop letting fake boundaries on LinkedIn tell you you can't tell them because you can't.
Yeah.
But
Ooh.
Tracy, that's scary.
Yeah.
It is scary. It's scary. And this is the thing I tell my son. My son is 6. It will always be scary until you try it. Well, it doesn't get less scary until you try it and you start to work your way through how you would do it. And then once you find your way to do it, it's not scary. But as long as you sit there and wait, it will continue to be that same amount of scary. It won't get any less scary. You got to just do it.
Yeah. Okay.
Perfectly right.
Perfect.
I think that is a perfect way to wrap this up. If you want the thing, you have to do the thing. Is that what we're saying?
I heard that. I heard that before.
You want the thing, you have to buy the thing.
There we go.
Get the book.
You can join the waitlist for the Social Enablement Blueprint at socialenablement.pro or scan the QR code on screen. We now have a newsletter. You can sign up for show highlights, beyond the show insights, and reminders of upcoming episodes. You can visit us at digitaldownload.live and click on newsletter, or follow the QR code on screen. On behalf of the panelists, thank you all for being part of this inaugural World Enablement Day special edition. And we'll see you next time on the Digital Download.
Well done, Rob.
Thank you all.